the Auburn Sports Network. Alpha Insurance presents Auburn Sports Today. Here's Brad Law.
It is game day for top-ranked Auburn basketball at LSU. Bruce Pearl previews the matchup on the Bayou.
LSU's guards, can really score, get downhill, provide you with some one-on-one, challenges. Obviously, Carter is leading the SEC in league games in scoring. Sears comes off the bench for them, is, really a terrific scorer and an older kid, and, guy that's lived at the foul line at UT Martin and is a really tough cover. And then their front line is just athletic, just really, really athletic. Bouncy, long, young. And so they like to play fast. They do a good job in transition. And this is a quad one opportunity for us. But for LSU, this is a separator. They're like one win against a team like Auburn away from being in. And so that's what we're going to face.
Tigers and Tigers tip at 6 tonight. We have your pregame coverage from Baton Rouge on the network at 5:30. Women's basketball is coming off a 23-point wire-to-wire win over Florida this past Sunday.
Those kids got in the gym. We missed our last basketball game. We missed a lot of shots. So they got in the gym and they put in the work. And when you do that, you have success.
Coach Jay's team doesn't play a midweek game, so they're in the gym prepping for Sunday's game at South Carolina. It starts a stretch of 3 of their next 4 away from home. Until tomorrow, I'm Brad Law for Auburn Sports Today.
This time next week, I'll be sick in bed with West Nile virus, thanks to a mosquito bite right in front of my house.
In 8 minutes, my daughter will be in an ambulance, having an asthma attack, triggered by cockroaches.
I'm going to be bitten by a tick today. I won't even know it until Lyme disease turns my life upside down.
Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association and the CDC.
Your home for Super Bowl 59. WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida. Ready. The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air.
Live and local.
Weekdays from 4 till 6.
This thing is going to be a financial and cultural disaster.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Whopper, 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 whopper.
The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air. ESPN Northwest Florida.
What is going on, Northwest Florida? You are now in the doghouse riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with a full house. We've got Fano, also known as Adam Goff, also known as AG, also known as the Cake Sandwich Helper.
Yeah, a little
like
bit.
Like an elf to a
taste
to a
tester.
real chef of Carla Goff.
The taste tester, right?
The taste tester.
Also known as the rain cloud.
Also known as the
Apparently.
rain cloud. Just a little, that's more of a private nickname, Caveman Rick, even though his new segment at 5 o'clock is going to be called AG's Rain Cloud. Banji Bomandella in the building with us as well. He's your sports reporter for the Panama City News Herald. He'll be with us till 5 o'clock talking all things Bay County, high school athletics, and anything else. I mean, because the man knows everything when it comes down to anything. Also, Caveman Rick down over there got the Kelly Green Philadelphia Eagles on, ready for the next Super Bowl loss.
Just as long as we don't bookend the three-peat is all I'm making sure of.
That's what you're going to do.
Yeah,
Actually,
that would be bad, wouldn't it?
When it comes down to rematches, this is going to be the 10th rematch in Super Bowl history. And the last time that the Eagles were a part of this, right, with the Patriots, they did win the second one.
Yeah, Nick Foles, man.
There is that. The Giants took care of business against the Patriots.
BDN.
2008, 2012. It was 2005 and 2018 for the Patriots and the Eagles. The Patriots took care of business against the Rams. That was in 2002 and 2019. Steelers and the Cowboys are the only teams that have met up 3 times in the Super Bowl. Steelers winning twice in 76 and 79, and then in 1996, the Cowboys got the better of the Steelers, 27-17. You had the Cowboys and the Bills. That was 93 and 94. Cowboys winning both of those. 49ers and the Bengals How many Super Bowl wins do the Bengals have?
That'd be 0. That'd be nice.
Same as the Tennessee Titans. We're in the same boat. Yeah,
Been
49ers winning in 1982 and 1989, and the Bengals' other loss was to a Californian team as well, and the Los Angeles Rams. And the Dolphins and the Redskins split in 1973 and 1983. So history's not necessarily on the Eagles' side, but when it comes to the Eagles' specific history in Super Bowl rematches, you're telling me there's a chance.
We got Saquon, yo.
I mean, that is how are we feeling about this? We're not. Well, we'll talk to you again before the Super Bowl, Banji. But what's your initial reaction in this game? I mean, you got Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts looked really good. Now he's got more time, or he looked. When we're talking about his health, we didn't know what his health was going to be. He looked pretty healthy in that game. Now he's got time to rest up for it. A.J. Brown, big factor. And then on the other side, lots of names we could mention, but only one needed to be mentioned. The referee. No, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes. I'm really not on the bandwagon of, or the bandwagon, if you will, of the refs being such a factor in these games. A factor. I won't ever deny that, but not the factor, especially when you have an opportunity as an offense, Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, to get the job done. But where is your head at right now? Eagles, Chiefs, Super Bowl 59, and you can hear that right here on our air, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's hard. It's very hard. I would definitely say that it's trying to bring experience, mixing it with offense that is flying like the Eagles are, right? But we've
I
don't think that's the actual sound of an eagle.
It's not. I've never heard an eagle squawk before.
It's more
They screech.
Yeah, it's more screechy.
All right. Two terrible sound bites for you guys to listen to.
Clip F8.
Kind of like the ospreys that you might hear around here, kind of similar.
There you go. All right, back to you, Banji. Sorry that we got a little National Geographic on you there.
I would say that this is one of those situations where with the Chiefs, this might be the best defense that they're bringing into the Super Bowl. I think in their tenure, in the amount of Super Bowls we've seen led by Patrick Mahomes and the guys, we used to think, okay, they have Mahomes, he'll bring it home. But I think this time it's more of, I think their defense is the best it's been under that time, and I think that that's going to be the problem for the Eagles because, yes, Saquon's on a historic pace and all that, but now more than ever, they're going to dial in on that. And, yes, Jalen Hurts had a great NFC championship, but, I mean, there was that time where, 3-4 tush pushes in a row where I'm just like, besides that.
Try something else.
Yeah, legit, right? Because it's just like.
You don't have to try anything else. What works for you?
And I do agree with that sentiment so much. I forget.
Well, how many times did Patrick Mahomes roll to the left and burn Buffalo to get first downs and stuff in that game?
And how many times did Buffalo run to the left of the center?
You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you can exploit something and you can, if I can run the same play on you 50 times in a row, I'll run the same play on you 50 times in a row if I know I'm gonna get what I need out of it.
If you're on an online connected Madden franchise, that's frowned upon sometimes running the same play so many times in a row. But certain leagues will find it acceptable, and one of those leagues is the actual NFL. Don't fix something that's not broken. But so do you think that play should be outlawed? The tush push?
Brotherly shove.
Whatever you want to call it.
No, because it's like if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And I know they're not cheating.
That's not cheating.
Yeah,
that's
no. I agree with it, Banji.
That's lining up and saying, hey, this is what we're doing.
Turn your mic off.
No, this is lining up and saying, this is what we're going to do, and you can't stop us.
No, because there was like photo evidence of the center had his whole entire head in the neutral zone. Like he's basically looking back at the ball, at the ball. And so I was just like, there's a lot of, it's not right. It's not football. Like you look at that and be like, that's not a football play. That is rugby right there. What is it doing in the NFL? You know?
Oh, which I actually, there was one of these days, I think it was maybe Christmas Eve, where there was no sports on. So I actually watched a little bit of rugby. Caveman Rick was there.
Yep.
And some of the, what was the other one called?
Australian rules football.
Yeah, Australian rules football, which I like the Australian rules football a little bit more because it was like constantly moving.
Right.
It had different rules, so I had to acclimate to both of those. But anyways, yes. How do you feel about this, AG? Should the league look at getting rid of the brotherly shove?
They already did and said no.
I mean, we revisit these things every year, Caveman Rick, so sorry about your luck.
We got precedents.
No, I mean, the thing is if you can stop it, stop it. If you can't, sorry about your luck, right? I don't think there's a huge advantage gained. I mean, everybody can do it in the league, right? I mean, everybody has the ability to run that play. Mm-hmm. It's just that the Eagles are so much better at it than everybody else, right? And you can say, oh, well, it's the same offensive line. Rick, is it the same offensive line you had last year?
Nope, we've been changing it all
Is it the same offensive line you had 2 years ago?
No, sir.
Okay, so different pieces are still involved.
That they had last year was pretty much the same.
Most teams don't have a quarterback, too, that can squat over 700 pounds on his own.
But it's the thing is the personnel has changed, right? The personnel has changed from year to year.
Year to year.
And they're still able to get it done more effectively than everybody else. Are they perfect with it? No. Do they miss on it sometimes? Yes. So the fact is we've seen that it can be stopped. Mm-hmm. Therefore, it should not be illegal. Now, am I all for... Okay, well, our running back is 6 yards downfield, and the offensive lineman is essentially picking him up and running with him. That's where the line is drawn for me.
You don't like those? Where
but see, how many defenders can you have? Like I guess that's my because Danny Griffin said that in one of our group chats on what the offense shouldn't be able to help the other offensive players move the ball. If a ball carrier has the ball, any other offensive player shouldn't be able to aid them in gaining more yards. But my thing is, okay, if we're going to say that, then it should only be one defensive player. No.
What I'm saying is if that offensive ball carrier, whether it's a receiver, whether it's quarterback, whomever it is,
offensive lineman,
if their feet are literally no longer on the ground, then that play should be dead.
So you're going to expect the referees who have a hard enough time finding out where the ball is dead at.
Yeah.
In the midst of a group of men.
We've got immediate reviews that come down every single game.
It'll be wrong and it'll slow down the game.
We have immediate reviews that come in that do not slow down the game right now.
Okay, all right.
True.
But they need to, and they need to employ those.
As soon as that player's feet have he's gone more than X amount of yards, X amount of feet.
Half a second.
So what if his feet are in the ground? Carrying him as he hurdles. What about that? Then if he hurdles,
if his forward momentum brings him to that point, then that's on him. His forward momentum is not bringing him. It's other people.
But you don't know
the
that,
difference.
Though.
I do. You can watch
It's his team, though.
If let's say gravity's at work here.
Yep.
Now we're defying gravity here. We're wicked.
Implying.
We're implying if there's gravity. If there's gravity and let's say
Come on, Isaac Newton, let's go.
I'm rushing, right? And I hit this brick force. Let's say it's just Jalen Carter, right?
Let's go. Physics at work here.
I bounce back, but then you know how it naturally you bounce back and then you bounce forward.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say somebody then picks me off the ground. Are you going to drop the ball dead there, or I'm still leaning forward now?
Yeah, where does the ball?
It's wherever your inertia stopped.
So we went from
if your inertia
channel
is
to
stopped, that's where the play is dead. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
How about this, man? Just be tougher and don't get shoved around by the guy in front of you.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get to the reality of the world here, where some of these guys are bigger than some of the other guys. So
get over it.
6'7" Mailata.
So it's our fault because we got guys like Jordan Mailata. We got guys like Jalen Carter.
So
Jordan Davis.
The offensive players should not be able to, and your definition right now is that you should not be able to, once your legs are off the ground, if you're not the driving force behind your yard gainage, then the play should be dead at that point in time. Okay.
Forward progress
should be called.
Okay, so my question is, during the NFC Championship game, I saw at the 1 yard line, Jalen Hurts just snap the ball and wait till he gets pushed from behind.
I need Banji on 5 days a week with us.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts gets pushed from behind.
Just this crew.
If I was the ref, I'd stop the play dead there.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. If he's not the one that's instigating
Joe Burrow gets the snap,
then have at it.
How is it different than a running back that's waiting for a hole to open up and being patient and then hits the hole?
Because he doesn't have anybody pushing him behind him.
He's using his own
He's
inertia.
waiting for the offensive line to get the push, and then he's going. You know what I'm saying? You get the movement, and then you go behind the movement. You know what I mean?
Rick, no, I saw him literally wait for.
Yeah, you can wait. And how many times have you seen running backs like wait for a block?
They don't have somebody behind him.
He's not waiting for a block. He's waiting for somebody to push his.
He's waiting for the offensive line to move
or
forward,
shove his
and
brotherly.
then he's going to go through, and he's going to get shoved.
Shove me, brother.
Honestly, I have no problem with the brotherly shove, though. I have no issue with it. I think that I do actually. I will say this, and I don't like to give AG a lot of credit, even though he knows off the air, 9 times out of 10, or I'll say at least 7 times out of 10, what AG is talking about, it makes a lot of sense. Sometimes he's just like every other sports fan, though. There's things that I say that are more exactly. It's coming more from the emotional standpoint than it is the cerebral standpoint. We're all like that outside of Banji Bomandela. All right, Banji just keeps it real 1,000% of the time.
I'll try.
At least from what I see on the News Herald, and when it comes down to Bay County High School athletics. Real quick, want to tell you guys about Holland Hart's ESPN Northwest Florida, the Magic Express. You can win 2 passes to watch the Orlando Magic host the Sacramento Kings on Saturday, March 29th. You're going to watch the game from a luxury suite. You're going to get free food during the game, plus your hotel is included in the ultimate road trip. We're going to be taking a busload of sports fanatics to ride the Holland Hart's ESPN Northwest Florida Magic Express. To enter, open up the ESPN Northwest Florida app and crush the Enter Contest button. That's brought to you by PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Holland Hart's in Fairfield, Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive, and by Home 2 Suites. All right, back to the conversation that we're kind of.
Hey, we almost got a touchdown awarded to us because of what Frankie Luvo was trying to do.
How do we feel about that? I saw
it
one person.
It happened one time
in NFL history.
No, it happened in college because I was watching NFL Network. Okay, and Kyle Brandt brought this up. Okay, back in I think it was like the '54 Cotton Bowl, I believe, and it was
remember
Alabama versus Rice. Okay, Alabama versus Rice.
Yeah,
there was a Rice player running down the sidelines. He beat Alabama, and he was going to score a touchdown. There was a guy sitting on the bench next to Bear Bryant.
So you're saying this happened against Alabama?
This happened.
Stop the story.
No, this happened. Alabama did this. Alabama.
Yeah, no, against Alabama. The penalty was against Alabama.
Yeah, they're the culprits. They're the perpetrators.
Yeah, all right.
The guy that was
bad enough of the story. We don't need to learn this kind of history.
Yeah, we do. The guy that was sitting next to Bear Bryant got up off the bench without a helmet, tackled the guy, ran back off the field, and the refs awarded a touchdown.
And that guy should have been awarded the best teammate award in the history of sports.
Wasn't it the old Chiefs head coach that tripped a dude on the sidelines?
That was Tomlin.
Yeah, that was Tomlin.
Well, no, but before Tomlin, though, there was a Chiefs. Well, you had Chiefs head coach.
There was somebody.
You had Woody Hayes, Ohio State head coach, who hit a Clemson player, and I believe it was the Gator Bowl. I might be off on what bowl it was, but there was Ohio State's head coach, Woody Hayes.
I remember that there was a Chiefs player that tripped an opposing player running down the sideline. So,
well, what about who was it? Antonio Brown with the drop kick?
Yeah, against Cleveland. Yeah,
that's my favorite play ever.
Do you think Patrick Mahomes?
That dude is going down with a gold jacket of some sort.
Do you think Mahomes was watching that game just salivating, going, "You mean they can just award me a touchdown for nothing? Really?"
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so.
I think he was. He was going, they can just give me a touchdown?
Yeah, but why
don't they do that, Andy?
They give him 15 yards. That's why.
It's the reason why is when you're on the goal line.
15.
If it was on the, you have a play on the goal line, wide receivers like your DBs and your safeties, they can just hold, because what's the penalty going to be? If you're already on the goal line, there's no half the distance to the goal. You're already there.
Yes,
they can't award you anything more. So
if you're on the defensive side of the ball.
So basically, it's to deter from teams doing that kind of stuff and creating those shenanigans, killing chance after chance.
Where my issue was with the whole thing was, so you had the same player jumping over twice. All right,
trying to
if he does that 3 or 4 times, or after the 4th time, then all right, I'm with it, because he's trying to time the snap. That's all he's trying to do. It's not like he's trying to impede.
Which he had done a couple other times in that game prior.
Exactly. So you can't fault him for doing that. Where my issue is with the referees is, now when the defensive tackle does it, now all of a sudden, you're going to sit there and say, if this happens again, because they didn't say that the first 2 times. Tony Romo said that after the 2nd time. It was after the 3rd time that the referee gets on the mic and says, if this happens again, we will award a score for for the Philadelphia Eagles. And it was like, look, but you can't say this is deliberate because they're not just jumping the snap, just to cause confusion or to be a brat.
They're trying to get an advantage on the play, and I understand that.
Yeah, but they're doing that. Yeah, but that's
you can't penalize them anymore because we can't get any more yards.
Okay,
we're already on the goal line.
I don't care.
So then what's the penalty on the defense?
Go 5 times. But to say that this one player is doing it and then now the defensive tackle is doing it, I get that you're an Eagles fan. You're going to see it through whatever kind of eyes that the Birds have up there. You don't say that as an Eagles fan. Meanwhile, rocking a Brian Dawkins.
If you're on offense and you can't get any gain as far as the defense doing anything wrong, holding, pass interference, whatever you want to call it, what's the penalty got to be then? There's no
no consequence.
No consequence for the defense. Yes, there has to be a consequence for the defense if they do something. Once you're on the goal line, there's nothing more to gain on the offensive side if they throw a flag.
Because at that point, if you're doing encroachment rather than offsides, where there's no time that's running off, if it's encroachment where there's no time running off at all, then you're not eating clock. You're not utilizing a down. You're basically just doing the same thing over and over again. And I think what Dave was trying to say was...
but I got rudely interrupted by Caveman Rick.
Just like you're doing me now, thanks.
Yeah.
But I think what Dave was trying to say was that if it was it was number 4, right, for the Commanders.
Yeah, that was
Frankie Luvo. If it was the same dude that did it 4 times in a row, then I could understand them saying it. But it wasn't number 4 on that third play. It was the nose tackle that had his helmet there that was over the line. So at that point, it was a different player. Same team, obviously, different player, different circumstance. So I don't see them awarding it on that next one if that happened to be the case. Now, if
what do you get 11 chances because you got 11 guys on the field?
If number 4 comes over the top again and he's offsides, then yeah, go ahead and award it. I'm fine with it because otherwise we're sitting here watching them do this forever.
Exactly.
But you never know. A fumble could happen. A turnover could happen. So you can't just automatically give them points.
Mr. Bada Bing, Bada Boom,
sure
Benji Bamadella here in the studio with us. All right. Fifi Clark says, yo, Jack Patterson, good afternoon, everyone. And Big Cloud chiming in with afternoon, fellas. I don't want to bite you, but there's a great company in this area called Bite Me, led by Carla Goff, Adam Goff. Tell us a little bit about what we've got going on, something that we want to get the listeners involved with for a little taste testing going on next Wednesday, rather. Benji, you're going to be a part of this, so
yes, you
get
are.
your taste buds ready.
All right, so Bite Me Custom Cookies and Treats. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram. We also have a fantastic website the wife's been working hard at. We ship all over the country, too. We actually just had one go out to San Francisco. So what she's working on right now is she's working on cake sandwiches, okay? So basically, she's formulating and creating like sandwich slices, like little triangles that's all cake on the outside, and then there's like icing and little treats on the inside. So what I'm looking for ideas from everybody, from listeners, from you guys, people at the station. Let's come up with some ideas for flavors of cake sandwiches.
Like a flavor combination here. We're looking, and mainly from the listeners here because it's going to be a contest, but also from everyone here in the station. We're going to pick the best. We're going to put a Facebook post out there. We're also going to take your text today at 850-215-6290. You can also leave those on the comments on Facebook. What we're going to look for is, what do you think, 3 to 4 flavor combinations?
I would say 3, yeah.
All right, so leave,
top 3.
Yeah, top 3 flavor combinations. You guys going to send that in. We're going to taste the flavors next week live on the air of the top 3 flavors, and whichever person gets the best flavor is going to win not only $25 to Major Smokehouse, $25 to not the, but that boot store, but a dozen cupcakes from Bite Me.
100%.
And you will want to bite those cupcakes. We'll have more on that later. Bite Me just does a great job. Carla's so excited about these cake sandwiches, and I'll be honest with you, I am too. Benji Bamadella in the building with us. We're talking some Bay County High School sports next when we get back. This is the Afternoon Underdogs. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Always great to say hello to our friend Brian Curtis. I'm shocked, disappointed, and depressed reading your piece. Good afternoon. How are you?
Great to talk to you too, Paul. Isn't it funny? Sports journalism, which seems so romantic to those who don't do it, turns out to be standing outside a room and waiting for a man in a suit to come out and tell you that nothing happened inside the room.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida. This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Wednesday afternoon. The remainder of the day, some sun and 66 with a gentle breeze out of the southwest around 8 miles per hour. For tonight, a mixture of slight fog and partly cloudy skies and a low near 55. Tomorrow, slightly foggy in the morning, but otherwise mostly sunshine and a high around 70. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
ESPN Northwest Florida is thrilled to introduce the newest members of the Panama City Beach Chamber to our vibrant business community.
Welcome to the Beach Chamber. Bend Beyond Best Moves, Peer Group Consulting, Tempest Group Incorporated, The Grocery Kitchen and Tap Room, Found Marketing Firm, Mr. Beach Team, LPT Realty, Precision Care Chiropractic, and Sweet Frog Premium Yogurt PCB.
We're here to support your success and help you connect with our community.
Congratulations from ESPN Northwest Florida.
And the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce, reaching Bay County and beyond.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good? Introducing Lucid Stream TV. Get over 2,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch local network channels from most major markets throughout the country. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. Just $41.99 a month. Cut the cord, not the fun. To get Lucid Stream TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click the Lucid TV logo.
They're number one in the men's room.
I hope this place comes with toilet paper.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Oh, geez, this is going to be a photo finish.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
What is going on? You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida, and we are your home for Auburn Tiger basketball, and they are on this evening right after the Afternoon Underdogs coming up. Tip-off at 6 o'clock. I'm just saying random words so I can get to who they're actually playing tonight, which is going to be LSU and the Tigers. SEC basketball has been heating up. Really, college basketball across the board has been heating up. This is about the time of the year that I jump into it. Alabama, Mississippi State going on tonight as well, but here on ESPN Northwest Florida will be Auburn and LSU coverage starting at 6 o'clock. We've got Banji Bomandela in the house with us as we normally do on Wednesdays. And Banji, a lot of things going on here for Bay County basketball, boys and girls, and for soccer, boys and girls here in Bay County High School Athletics. Let's start with boys soccer and the playoffs. Arnold had a big win last night. You want to talk a little bit about that game?
Yes, sir. Arnold was playing in the Class 5A District 2 semifinal game against Leon. They previously played Leon back in November. They beat them 6-1 then. So they played them last night, district semifinal. Whoever wins goes to the final. That's going to be played on Thursday. And Arnold, they got a goal early on in the first half from a throw-in. It was a long throw in, too. Nobody touched it until...
Did the refs say that if you don't throw that ball in correctly, we're going to award you a goal?
Yeah, but they scored from a throw in, and then there was a handball that occurred in the box, and then Fernando Granillo scored the penalty, 2-0. Arnold advances to their ninth straight district championship game. They're going to try to win their eighth in 9 years.
8 out of 9 is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
I mean, that's Hall of Fame stat. Now, how long has Coach Hammond been the coach over there, Arnold?
9 years. So
from get off.
So you're telling me that's a coincidence? Is that what you're saying? It's
literally,
coincidence?
And his record's like 150, 20-9. Like it's ridiculous. And last night's win was also a big achievement. They achieved 60 straight home wins.
Yeah, how big of a deal is that?
Literally, it's been 5 years since they lost at Gavlak Stadium.
And what do they call Gavlak?
The Abyss.
The Abyss. Now, I think they just started that maybe 2 years ago or so. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure about that. But one of the things that Coach Hammond brings to that program, I mean, just how do you keep the consistency up as a coach, keeping guys year in and year out? They lost 9 players from a state championship, national champion team last year. None of those players from a championship team go on to play D1 soccer, which is asinine to think about. I just learned that today on the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. How do you
Hoosiers?
Yeah,
I mean, it's like Hoosiers of soccer right there. I mean, seriously.
Except for, the Hoosiers had a pretty successful football team this year.
I'm talking about
I know you're talking about the movie.
I
get that, but I'm just saying that they had a successful football team, and I think that's crazier than the movie Hoosiers or the basketball. The fact that they were so good in football this year. What do you think the key is, though, for Coach Hammond and the Arnold Marlins to keep that consistency up in the sport of boys soccer?
It's that culture that he's building there. I mean, that he's built there. It's one of those things where once you have a figurehead and you have that success, like one of the Arnold weightlifting coaches told me, greatness attracts greatness. And you know that Coach Hammond, he's a great coach. There's no doubt about it. He's proven it. And once he's there, he attracts greatness. He attracts guys who they want to put in the effort, they want to put in the work. He told me last night, there's nobody in the nation who prepares like we do. And it shows. So, yeah, I think he has a group of guys or just a system, maybe from middle school to youth, or even in his Florida Roots program. He just has a system that builds the best players, not only in the Panhandle, but probably in the country.
Benji, let me ask you this question, and maybe this isn't something that's on his radar, but at what point do colleges start to look at him and start offering him head coaching jobs?
And when does Benji start asking him those questions?
Right,
for articles? But Benji's like, you just gave me an idea, dog.
Yeah, and you know what?
And he may have already had offers and turned them down. We don't know.
Exactly right. But it's the perfect thing where I'm hoping for the perfect story. They go win another state championship back to back. Ask him, is this the last ride? It's like one of those things where I want
it's
to
like
build
the
it
Undertaker,
up.
the last ride.
Exactly. So,
well, I mean, it's like, what else can this guy do at this level, right?
Exactly.
I mean, eventually you reach the peak of your profession and you go, okay, well, I want to take the next step, right? And I mean, you couldn't fault the guy for doing it. I mean, he's put in a decade doing it and done it at the highest level. And so if he does have aspirations for it, and we don't know, like I said, he may be good just being here, being a living legend.
I mean, not only is he a living legend, but, he's got the Florida roots and everything like that going on there. I mean, there's plenty of reasons to say, but...
It's Panama, the beach, like...
Happy beach, you're from the great Atlanta coming over here and say, it's Panama City, baby.
What more could you ask for, honestly?
This is why you should be reading the News Herald, ladies and gentlemen, because Benji has bought in to being a Panama Cityan.
Is that what y'all call it?
I don't know what we call ourselves, but that's what I just called it.
We need to look into that, actually. What do we call ourselves?
Panamanian?
Panamanians, Panamaniacs.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah. All right, so we're Panamaniacs. If anyone knows, and if anyone does know, it would be Lynn Haven Rob. What do you call people from Panama City? Probably Panama City natives, locals. Yeah. Locals is what we call ourselves. That's what I called myself to distinguish myself from the crazies on spring break. Like, I'm a local. I deserve that 10 to 15% discount. And now that's kind of unheard of for the most part. But what are some of the other teams that are here in the soccer playoffs for boys in Bay County high schools?
There are no more because Mosley lost to Leon in that first round, and then Bozeman's out, Rutherford's out.
What about North Bay Haven?
North Bay Haven? I could quickly look at that one, but I'm pretty sure. I don't think they're still in. I'll double check though. They actually play.
I think they play tonight.
They play tomorrow night against Florida High.
That's right. Yeah, we were talking a little bit about it on the Inside Drive because Rutherford fell to Florida High last night, 5-2, because Coach Olds called us on the way over there. And then, North Bay Haven and Florida High. Florida High is pretty daggone good, though. And shout out to Rutherford and Coach Olds for the season that they had, just kind of building upon the success that they've had in the last 2 years underneath the leadership of Coach Olds.
Yeah, North Bay Haven, my apologies. Y'all are playing for a district championship tomorrow, so let me apologize.
You might have to make an appearance there, Benji.
Hey, he does many a times. Many a times.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy day tomorrow, but my apologies, North Bay Haven. Y'all are playing for a district title tomorrow. Good luck.
There you go.
I'll try to swing by. And but yeah, Florida High is a tough team.
Tim Adams says we're called rednecks. It is the Redneck Riviera. So, Banji, how does it feel to be a redneck, my friend?
I've never been called what?
Never been called a redneck.
Never been called a redneck before, so I'll take it though.
Well, there you go, Banshee Pomodelo, the redneck, in the building with the Afternoon Underdogs.
It just doesn't fit.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. But you know what? You're a chameleon, my man. I know that you can get in with any crowd in the world. All right, let's go to boys basketball. Actually, what about on the girls bracket, the girls side of things in soccer? Do we have any teams fighting for their playoff lives, or are the seasons of girls soccer here over?
I know that North Bay Haven girls are playing tomorrow as well, so I think they're going to play before the boys play, and that will also be for a district title. So North Bay Haven could get the sweep with district titles tomorrow in boys and girls soccer. So, yeah, North Bay Haven. I believe Arnold girls soccer should also be playing as well. I'm going to just double check on that.
Well, let's go, man. So we got some good things going on for boys and girls soccer. Not every team made it, but they had an opportunity. And now we're moving on to boys basketball playoffs, and those are going to be starting February 3rd. Let's start here with Class 5A. You did a great job kind of putting this article out there and having which teams are going to be playing which teams. And February 3rd, we've got Pine Forest taking on Arnold. Now, with Pine Forest being the number 4 seed, are they hosting in that game?
They're hosting, yes.
Okay, so what does Arnold need to do, in your opinion, to be able to move Pine Forest in boys basketball?
Well, they're definitely going to have to stop trying to rely on the three-point shooting. It's one of those things in high school basketball where if it goes down, great, amazing. Especially like in basketball in general now with the three-point shooting, it's like if it goes down, great, amazing. But if it doesn't,
you need to figure out something else.
Exactly.
That's Alabama basketball in a nutshell, or at least has been.
Great.
Everything always ties back. You know what?
But am I wrong though? Am I wrong? Because they play great defense, right? Alabama basketball, they play great defense, but it's so live or die by the three sometimes, and it's like, hey, put your hard hat on, which is Nate Oates' signature, and get to work. And that's across the board. I'm not trying to make this about Alabama as much as basketball in general. If the three-point shot ain't falling, get to work.
Yeah.
Get to the inside, man. Let me see you flashing. Let me see some cuts, man. Have the cookie cutters working. If not, we're going to have to get you guys to go to Bite Me and get me a 12-pack of cupcakes. Anyways, what more can Arnold do to move on here in the 5A? And then I have another question for you after that.
I mean, hopefully, I think Chris Noble may be healthy now, because when I went to Arnold versus Bay on that Hall of Fame night, he was sitting on the sidelines, in street clothes. So hopefully he's healthy, because he's their main force. He averages a double-double. So as long as he's playing, they have his chance. If he's not, it's a less of a chance. But I do think they've exceeded expectations this year. They only had 7 wins last year.
Yeah.
So
isn't that Arnold as a whole, though? I mean, really?
We need to have a conversation about Arnold athletics as a whole.
Is Arnold the comp Vanderbilt of this year, though? Right? Like, look at Vanderbilt in boys and girls basketball. Girls basketball is up into the top 25. Football, I don't care what you say. If Vanderbilt goes to 6-6, like, you might be looking for bacon flying somewhere. All right? Vanderbilt in baseball and golf is normally decent, but, like, Vanderbilt's on a little bit of an ascension. Is that what we're saying? Arnold is?
Yeah, I think Arnold, they're probably top 3 as far as athletic programs
as a whole.
They're top 3, and you probably wouldn't have
softball. Always good. Baseball, they got Cooper Moss and Eli Blair.
Football,
they're headed to Florida Gators, or to the Florida Gators. Football this year, astronomical.
Literally, right?
I would say Rutherford is also in that area of growth, right? They're not to what Arnold has done this point, but bringing in Javian Elliott to be the secondary coach, defensive backs coach, they were one of the more exciting teams to watch. Even though they weren't getting a lot of wins, they were very exciting to watch with Coach Nuke Floyd. Soccer, at least on the boys' side of things, really has grown exponentially in the last 2 years.
Girls
and then
basketball.
You talk about girls basketball with Coach Ross.
The best in the area, basically. Yeah. So, yeah. But I also argue with Arnold, they had over, I think they had 15 student athletes signed to play in college. You can't argue that. It's one of those where it's like a school where you would think athletics, Arnold.
Yeah.
15.
Oh, what makes you say that? As just a new redneck of Bay County.
It's one of those things where it's like Bay's been around for 100 years.
Yeah.
You think Arnold in 25 might have gotten to the same level a little bit? Maybe they might not have the alumni or the caliber, but currently. It's a discussion. That might be a thing.
That might be a little article that you can put out with the votes. You know, who's got the best overall athletic program? But can we leave something like that up to votes, to fan votes? I mean, we have to for engagement purposes.
Mm-hmm. But
then the final vote could be
maybe like a private coach's vote. Yeah,
get all of the coaches
who vote for their own school, though, right?
That's the. I mean, maybe if they were being honest about it, but or go to every team in the district.
Ooh,
the other teams. Don't go to the who's in Arnold's district, and then you go to all of those. Rank these Bay County schools as best you can,
Yeah.
Or you could just say, look, here's you go to an Arnold game and you say, vote who has the best athletic program, but Arnold isn't listed on here.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Who's second place,
and then go to Bay and leave Bay off there. And then just compile the votes and then see who has the most votes of everybody.
So you have a local vote and then a district vote, because I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah.
So why is Arnold what were they in football?
In football, like what classification?
Yeah, because they weren't in
4A.
5A. Yeah, right. But they're 5A in soccer.
It's weird, bro. It's weird.
That's Florida, isn't it? I mean, in a nutshell.
So we're just weird.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Mosley's going to be taking on the winner of Choctaw and Escambia on February 5th. Mosley's been one of the more consistent basketball teams this year. How do you think they look? How do they match up against either a Choctaw or Escambia?
I just think Mosley has size, man.
Yeah.
They have
they're a little bit fatter than everyone else?
That too, but I was going to use an analogy when you try to describe, two lengthy players, but I was like, I'm not going to do it. But yeah, they have two guys over 6'6". It's one of those things where I think rebounding is going to be essential. Fletcher Taylor, a D1 tight end, is also a very good basketball player.
Oh, is he?
He is.
So he's like taking over for Raiden Bruins, who was
Literally,
a great tight end, who also going D1 to Rutgers, and I believe Fletch just picked up SMU and
FIU, and Pitt.
The offers that I'm seeing out of Mosley football right now, not
Bay County in general,
right? That's what I was about to say. Bay County across the board, but I don't see as many updates, mainly because I think the Mosley ones in my algorithm are just a little bit higher, just because of calling their games. But yeah, I mean, across the board, you're seeing Amari Clemens.
I was going to ask you, how do you feel about Amari Clemens?
We're going to start that at 4:40. We're going to start that at 4:40, which is about 15 seconds away. So with that being said, you want to find out who Amari Clemens has committed to? Amazing running back out of Mariana, and he might not be going too far from home, but we got more on that with Banji Bomandela, and then after talking about Amari Clemens, we'll wrap up the boys basketball playoffs, and we got to get to Banji's Baller of the Week. It's been a little while since we brought that up. You guys are right with the Afternoon Underdogs. You're tuned in to ESPN North.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents Wrestling Against Cancer 10. Proceeds to help Ryan Holland. Stars to appear Mike Steele, Donnie B, AJ Stokes, Kelly Mann, and exciting women's wrestling with T Gaines, JC Black, and more. Wrestling Against Cancer 10, Saturday, February 8th at Bay Haven Charter Academy in Panama City. Tickets available at the door. More info at ESPNPC.com.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Wednesday afternoon. The remainder of the day, some sun and 66 with a gentle breeze out of the southwest around 8 miles per hour. For tonight, a mixture of slight fog and partly cloudy skies and a low near 55. Tomorrow, slightly foggy in the morning, but otherwise mostly sunshine and a high around 70. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Love is in the air at Tracy's Fine Jewelry, and do we have a sweetheart of a deal for you? All diamond heart jewelry is on sale for 25% off. All color gemstone jewelry is 60% off at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. We also have a large selection of gold, silver, and estate jewelry that is sure to melt her heart. Folks have trusted us for 50 years to make their Valentine's sparkle. This year, make it sparkle even more with a sweetheart of a deal from Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good? Introducing Lucid Stream TV. Get over 2,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch local network channels from most major markets throughout the country. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. Just $41.99 a month. Cut the cord, not the fun. To get Lucid Stream TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click the Lucid TV logo.
Pound the like and crush the subscribe. Follow us on social media for the latest sports news, scores, and updates. Keeping you in the game. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Put your hands up! Banji the Redneck loves it. Wrestling against Cancer 10. I can't believe I think we're just going to call him Redneck Banji from now on. Oh, you know what? Can we change the I to O and just call you Banjo?
Yeah, right.
That's a redneck banjo.
Redneck name right there, yes, sir.
Banjo Bombadilla.
Wrestling Against Cancer 10 is going to be February 8th at the Bay Haven Charter Academies. Doors will open at 5:30. Bell time 6:30. Tickets are $12 for adults, $8 for ages 6 through 17. 5 and under get in free. All proceeds go to benefit my cousin Ryan Holland and his cancer medical expenses. They just found out that his wife also has just been diagnosed with cancer. Just found that out Tuesday. So it's they've got a dual household now dealing with that. Lots of things left to figure out with all of that and how it's going, but I would appreciate you guys just to show up. Him being in the wrestling circuit as well, this show means a lot to him. He's wrestled in it prior to all of this for the benefit of the beneficiary, and I just would love to see the gym packed out and you guys come together and have a great time, and also buying tickets is going to help them out in the long run. You also have tomorrow at Slim Chickens in Callaway. If you go spend a couple of bucks and get yourself some food, if we raise over $250, then he will get a portion of that as well. So those are some ways that you can help out. And if you have anyone in your family that's, dealt with, or anyone that you know that's dealt with the ramifications of what cancer brings to the table, you know exactly how this can affect your family. And so this is a way for you to help out if you so choose. But February 8th, Bay Haven Charter Academy, right there at the gym. Doors are going to open up 5:30, bell time 6:30. Stay tuned to the Afternoon Underdogs, because this Friday from 4 to 5, we will be talking a whole lot more about it. And then from 5 to 6, essentially, I'm going to have Coach Brian Haddad and Jimmy and Pharaoh. So it's going to be a wrestling show this Friday because, I think I'd rather talk about wrestling than the Pro Bowl at this point in time. We left off talking with Banji Bombadilla. And we're going to take a quick break here from the basketball playoffs and go to Amari Clemens, stud running back that you brought to our attention maybe quarter way through the season, maybe not even that far into the season, over there for the Mariana Bulldogs. And he's made his decision on where he's going to play in 2026. Where's that going to be, Banji?
It's going to be Florida State. For the Florida State Seminoles.
How do you feel? I mean, he had offers to, I believe, Auburn. He had quite a few other offers as well. Do you think he made the right decision, and do you think that he will stick through that commitment to play for the Florida State Seminoles? Tough question to answer. Don't get me wrong, but give me the percentage chance from the mind of the Redneck Banjo.
Here's the thing. I'm going to give it 50%.
Oh, and that's kind of high.
It is, but it's also because you don't know what new offers might come in, and then you also don't know what the new NIL landscape, you don't know what they could be offering. So, I mean, I'm looking at his offers here. He had Auburn, Florida A&M, Kentucky, Florida State. And you never know those late guys that might come in, because not to bring him up all the time, but Lakavian, he got offers from Florida State, Louisville late in, and that almost had him thinking about flipping. Mm-hmm. But so you never know. But I think it's a good decision because he's close to home. That's really nice to be like close to home in Tallahassee. So it's like a big thing for a lot of these athletes is homesickness. Yeah, we've seen it with big time recruits where they kind of fall off in college because they start to yearn for, being at home or being around family. So that'll be a good thing for him. But, I mean, Florida State, they're getting a dog.
They are getting a dog. And What's the outlook, in your opinion, for the Florida State Seminoles this year? I mean, what kind of season do they need to bounce back from 2-10? And the fans are going to be fans, and they're going to believe in their team no matter what. But maybe to put them at a little bit more ease, because I don't think it's playoff or bust. You can't go from 2-10 to playoff or bust. But they've got a relatively easy schedule. What do you think is the number of wins that Norvell needs to put his fan base and the money people for the Seminoles at ease?
Yeah, AJ and I were talking about it. I think he was right when he said 9.
9.
Yeah, I think
so. You gotta go from 2 to 9.
I think so.
So if he goes 8-4, which
it depends
Alabama,
on the 4.
Right. Let me say this: it's Alabama.
Wins, it's fine to me.
Well, no. Alabama's a loss. Let's say this. No. I'm not saying that it is. No. I'm not saying that. Florida State could absolutely beat Alabama. It's at Doak next year. I'm not saying it from that. I'm saying the 4 losses being Alabama, Florida, Clemson, Miami. Those are your 4 losses.
Done.
You think he's done you do lose to 2 of your rivals there, really 3 of your rivals, and then one of those being Alabama. You think he's done?
I do. At 4 losses, I do.
I don't think so. I think 6-6 gets him.
6-6?
Yeah.
6-6 gets him fired?
Yeah. 6-6
so
gets
7
him
wins, he's good?
I think that 7 wins buys him 1 more year.
See, I don't know, man.
Because here's the thing. If you don't have... because the last loss is going to be Florida, right? They're not firing coaches that late anymore. That's just not... If you're a big university, it's got to be middle of the season because of the way that the transfer portal, which they're trying to get that changed up.
What's their schedule look like?
For the most part,
they start off with Alabama, right?
They start off with Alabama. Now, the other portions of your schedule are not going to have times. It's not going to be in order, any of that kind of stuff.
No, the dates should be there. It just should be the time.
August 30th, Alabama. Then September 5th, East Texas A&M.
Right. I didn't even know there was such a thing. We'll have to ask Morgan about that.
Yeah.
Tell us about the East Aggies.
And a bye. Then September 20th versus Kent State. That should be a win.
Should be a win.
26th at Virginia.
We'll call it a win for right now. 3-1.
Okay, October 4th versus Miami.
4 and a possible. Or
it's like playing spades now.
Yeah,
3-2.
Okay.
Wait, who was the next
October
one?
4th versus Miami.
All right, so yeah, we'll say 3-2, but come on, do we really think Carson Beck is going to be the successor to Cam Ward and keep that team? Come on, Cam Ward saved them from so much garbage this year. Miami fans were so blind to it. But 3-2 is fair.
Okay, and then October 11th versus Pittsburgh.
Win, right?
That's not that easy.
It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed.
Pittsburgh.
That's that possible loss.
They're hosting.
All right, we're at 4-2 right now.
Okay.
October 18th at Stanford.
Should be a win, but that travel.
Louisville got bit.
No, I mean that was a thing last year, Banji. Anytime that I think there was a couple of times that if you traveled more than 2 time zones, the odds were forever in the favor, as they say in that one movie.
That was a stat?
Yeah. Well, okay. It wasn't read off like that.
Yeah, but I mean Louisville got bit by that bug against Stanford last year. So 5-2,
and then November 1st versus Wake Forest. That should be a win, right?
Yeah.
Should be a win, 6-2.
And then November 8th at Clemson.
6-3.
Okay, then November 15th versus Virginia Tech.
We'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
7-3.
7-3.
November 21st at NC State.
Benefit of the doubt again.
8-3.
And then November 29th at Florida.
8-4.
8-4.
I'd be happy with that, honestly.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
if you drop one of those possibles that we were talking about, be Pitt or be at Virginia Tech or be at North Carolina State, because we don't know what they bring to the table.
But I think we just proved my point, though. At 9-3, he saves his job because
9-3 is automatic.
Because
9-3 he has no chance of losing his job.
I think 8-4 he loses his job because those 4 losses.
Well, we just went through the schedule, and you felt like, all right, 8-4 is almost a ceiling for this team. So how is the coach going to get fired after a ceiling type year?
Because he tried to go to the playoffs the 2 years prior and they didn't make it.
All right, he also
close, but then they went.
They should have been in.
They had 2 wins last year and they looked awful doing it.
They really should have only had 1. They should have only had 1 win.
So what I'm saying is if he drops or if he wins one of those 4 games, he stays. If he loses all 4, I think he's done.
Florida State fans, how do we feel about this? What is the number? What is the number for Florida State? We're not even supposed to be talking about this right now. We're supposed to be talking about it. It's my fault because we're talking about Amari Clemens and FSU, and I was what is the number? What is the number for Mike Norvell? You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. Give us a holler, 850-215-6290. Also, we'll tell you at the start of hour number 2, we're looking for some flavor combinations for some cake sandwiches that Carla Goff, Adam Goff, are going to be whipping up for Bite Me. We'll reference that again here at the top of hour number 2. All right, back to basketball. We've talked about Class 5A. Now we're at Class 4A, where the number 1 seed, the Bay High Tornadoes, are going to be taking on Pensacola on February 5th. What does Bay High need to do to get the dub there?
They just got to play how they're the ones who they need consistency. They need the consistency of Mosley because they have the athletes. I think that's the common thing with Bay High sports. They have the athletes. It's about putting it together. And I think if they play hard though. That's one thing I've watched with Coach Memon. He gets his guys to play hard. It's just a matter of can they put it together? Because when they faced Arnold about a week or 2 weeks ago, it was a lot of turnovers, a lot of sloppy play. But if they play cleanly, they play hard, they should get the victory. I think they have the best chance of winning their district. Honestly, Bay has the best chance. Let's go with the first-year coach and Mike Memon as well. Exactly right, and that will get you automatically into the playoffs. That'd be a great season, probably maybe a Coach of the Year kind of season. Yeah, because I mean they had Coach Rusty Cook 2 years ago, and they were really on the up and up with Coach Rusty Cook. Then they parted ways. Coach Cook goes to Gulf Coast, and I forget what the name of the coach was last year, but it was kind of a subpar year for what Bay was expecting after the success that they were running into. And now Coach Memon comes in after a year at Choctaw. Prior to that, he was over there at Mosley, so he kind of knows how Bay County basketball works. And yeah, great job by Coach Memon here in year 1 with Bay High. So February 5th, they're going to be hosting that game, right? So that's a big game here. If you're a Bay County local, you need to go check out Bay versus Pensacola on February 5th. But also, I guess you have a choice that evening because Mosley will be taking on the winner of Choctaw and Escambia. As we move to Class 3A, where we've got 3 schools here from Bay County competing at that level, Freeport, Bozeman. Bozeman going to be on the road against Freeport there. What does Bozeman need to do to buck up and beat the challenger? This one's an interesting one because they've already played twice this year. Bozeman got the victory in both of those games. So this will be the 3rd time they've played. And the first time, benches cleared. About 8 players from Freeport got ejected. And his high school, I forgot. We shouldn't clap for that. But yeah, this one, as long as they keep their cool, because Cash Zirkle is probably the best player, to me, best player in the county. When he's on it, he can score 30 on anybody. But Freeport, they have Julius Miles, the 6'7" power forward center guy who he's, I think, the all-time leading scorer for them as a junior. Well, as a junior, so pad those stats, bro. Yeah, and I mean, he's like a 20-20 kind of guy. So he's going to be hard to stop. But I think Bozeman has Cash Zirkle, Jamie Hernandez, Zach Flitcraft. They have the guys to pour in the points and outscore him because for Freeport, it starts with Julius Miles, it ends with Julius Miles. Yeah. So if you can shut him down and then you can get enough points with your trio 3 could be better than 1. Yeah, and but if he's getting loose, then he's getting loose, and that's going to be all she wrote. Literally, right? So, and I mean, if you want to be an instigator, try to prod them again, they might poke the bear a little bit. Exactly, they might all get ejected again. And, they're playing. I think they were playing like 5-on-3 at the end. It was that. Oh wow, it was one of those situations. Hate to go back to Alabama here, but man, I love that. Minnesota a few years ago. Yeah. All right, let's go to Walton and North Bay Haven. Walton being the 2 seed, North Bay Haven and the Buccaneers the 7 seed. This game again on February 3rd. What does North Bay Haven need to do to get a W? They got to be able to stop Walton on the defensive side because North Bay Haven, they give up a lot of points. And in some of their matches this year, it's kind of like teetering between we give away a lot of points and we score little, or we score a lot, but we also give away a lot. So I think they need a... So they're like the Pacers. Basically, yeah. It's like
I'm looking straight at him, trying to poke the bear, but the bear ain't having none of that.
It's like they average 110 points, but they also give up like 115. So it's like it's one of those situations where they just need to bow their necks and they need to play sound defensive basketball. But
You're scoring that many points in high school?
No, that was just a.
Oh, okay. I was like, good Lord.
Have you ever heard of a cliche before?
I've yet to see a 100-point game here yet.
I was like, wow.
Wow. Pensacola Catholic and Rutherford, real quick here before we get to Bandy's Baller of the Week. We've only got a minute left here. Rutherford, what are their chances against Pensacola Catholic?
It's one of those things where I wouldn't bet against Coach Ross. He's been in this situation before. Granted, this isn't his best roster that he's, compiled in a while, but I would say Coach Ross they play hard. Rutherford, yeah. I've seen them play 3.5 solid quarters.
Coach Ross is the boys basketball coach. Coach Edwards is the girls coach?
Coach Davis.
Coach Davis. Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
And I would just say I think Coach Ross can get – when it's playoff time, Coach Ross is the guy. He was the same guy last year who had his team in the district championship against Gabi, and they only lost by 1 point.
Wow.
So it's one of those things where he has the experience. I believe that he can get this victory against him.
And then Banji's Baller of the Week is going to be...
It's going to be Tarina Rushing of Mosley, the girls weightlifter. She won the individual district title in both the traditional and Olympic weight. I mean, she waits until everybody else tires themselves out lifting the weights, and then she puts on the big pounds and does her thing. So Tarina Rushing.
George Mulligan was pretty good over there, Bay High?
Yeah, she also won her weight class in wrestling too. So yeah, North Bay Haven girls got second. So yeah, it was a great event.
Great stuff there, Benji. Thanks so much for stopping by, giving us some of your time. As always, it is a great time. And then next week we'll talk a little bit more about the girls side of things here in girls basketball, and of course get everyone updated on what's going on in boys and boys soccer and boys basketball. Benji Bombadella, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't want to wait to hear things from us here, just go to the PanamaCityNewsHerald.com and check out Banji's latest stuff. Just go to the sports tab and click on local sports, and you will see some great content from Banji Bombadella. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and this is ESPN Northwest Florida, hour number 2. We're going to kick it off.
Your home for college basketball, ESPN Northwest Florida.
The 18-1 Auburn Tigers are on fire. And tonight, Coach Pearl and his number 1 ranked Tigers are at LSU as they look to dominate the conference bottom feeders. It's Tigers versus Tigers. Tip-off coming up at 6 right after the Afternoon Underdogs on your home for college basketball and the Auburn Tigers.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
War Eagle.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Wednesday. For tonight, light fog and partly cloudy skies and a low of 53 with a very light wind. Tomorrow morning, a mixture of mostly sunshine and slight fog with temps around 66. In the afternoon and evening, mostly sunny and a temperature near 69. Moving into Friday, about the same with a high of 70 and sprinkling. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Your home for Super Bowl 59. WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Call in with your questions, hot takes, and rants at 850-215-6290.
I'm sure that most of you have used a dial telephone before.
The Sports Talk Monster.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're back in the doghouse with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with AG, also known as Adam Goff and Fano. How's everything been going in the world of cards for you?
Good, man.
Did you get that 101 Paul Skeens?
No, that wasn't me, unfortunately.
Dang it. I thought you were 11 years old at sometimes, but... Yeah. Anyways, we got Caveman Rick in the building with us. Morgan Hilliard as well will bring us Mo's Notes here in the next segment. Hall & Hearts, ESPN Northwest Florida, teaming up for the Magic Express. You can win 2 passes to watch the Orlando Magic take on the Sacramento Kings on Saturday, March 29th. Watching that game from a luxury suite, free food during the game, and your hotel is included in the ultimate road trip. All you got to do is open up the ESPN Northwest Florida app and crush the Enter Contest button. If you don't have the ESPN Northwest Florida app, go to your Google Play Store or your Apple Store. Type in 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. That's brought to you by PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Hall & Hearts in Fairfield, Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive, and by Home 2 Suites. So make sure y'all get in on that contest because it ends this Friday. AG, bite me. Tell me a little bit about what Carla's got going on, what she expects from our listeners, and what we're going to be doing next Wednesday afternoon.
All right, so Bite Me Custom Cookies and Treats. It's my wife's cookie and baked goods company, and we do have a little food mobile baking station, if you will, and we'll be taking that to St. Andrews on Saturday for the market there. So make sure you swing on by and check us out. But she's making cake sandwiches, right? So we need ideas, your personal ideas for what you think would be the best flavors for a cake sandwich, and then the top 3 that we kind of get from you guys, and she'll make those, and then we'll come in and we'll do a kind of a taste test contest, and then the winner will get a
12-pack, also known as a dozen, not a baker's dozen. We're not going to go too crazy and give you 13, but a dozen cupcakes.
That's not fair.
As well as...
Well, that's not fair.
She's not a baker?
How about you talk to
I'm just
Carla?
kidding. That was just
Yeah.
No, and then there was
no
boot
one's
store,
home,
right? That boot store? Didn't you say that?
Oh
boot
yeah,
store?
yeah. No, we're $25 to Major's
there we go.
Smokehouse, and $25 to that boot store. And while I'm at it, since we're giving you 12 cupcakes, we gotta give you something to wash it down with. How about 12 Buffalo Rocks?
Right. So give us your ideas. Instagram, Facebook. You can check us out on there as well. Also, you can text us into 850-215-6290 right here at the station, or you can hit us up in the Facebook chat or the YouTube chat. Either way.
There you go. What's going on in the YouTube chat, though? You haven't even brought up one of the
Not a lot
comments.
going on. We got BX Breaks. I was actually...
what's that stand for?
I'm not sure, honestly. It's my buddy Eric. He lives...
BX Breaks.
BX.
Yeah, I know, but
yeah.
I was just...
But he... I was actually on his podcast.
Like Base Exchange, like the military store?
Basic Exchange Breaks. I like that.
No, I mean,
I like that.
You have the BX.
No, I know what you're talking about. I'm saying Basic Exchange Breaks.
But I was actually on his podcast.
Breaking cards for the military since 1999.
It came out on Monday. It's called What Are Your Comps? You can check it out on Spotify as well.
Oh, yeah, I saw you share that.
Yeah, so it was
I think that
cool
would be
to
a
get on
fun
there.
segment to do, like, not even card-wise, but just, bring a player up to the platform, and then what are the comps that you have for him, like you were talking about earlier with Castellanos, the new FSU quarterback, and your comp was, this guy has said like 3 times today, always going back to Alabama. All you do is go back to Louisville, Cincinnati, or something that's connected to Louisville in some way.
No, I just say Castellanos reminds me of Malik Cunningham a little bit.
Oh, Malik Cunningham. Yeah. Did I say Malik Murphy?
I have
Quarterback
no
who was over there at Texas. Morgan, what's going on with you? It's Wednesday, so I'm surprised you're wearing pink.
Oh, are we very surprised? I even broke out the pink glasses today.
Yeah, no, I
It's a
see it.
full look.
It's more like a brown color.
I'm
though.
actually blind, so actually blind. Needed my glasses because my contacts are kind of giving me issues.
We had one of our flag football players last night lost a contact during one of the play.
And let me tell you, the worst is when you're driving and you
He wasn't driving. He's only 12.
I'm just saying, like, you rub your eye and it falls out while you're driving.
Oh.
Like, I don't know if anyone's ever experienced that, but I'm sure they can attest.
AJ,
It's
do you
awful.
wear contacts?
No, I do not.
Caveman Rick, contacts?
Nope.
Okay, well, some of us are just blind. My bad.
No, my dad's blind.
I
Actually,
can use glasses, though, I'm pretty
Dad's
sure.
legally blind. My brother's blind in one eye, and then my grandpa is 100% blind.
I'm pretty sure, like, everyone in my family, it's got to be
a genetic thing.
Yes, because we all have to wear glasses or
It's in the
contacts or
genes.
some form of.
But you're not even wearing jeans today.
No, I'm wearing, my normal
Fancy suit.
business slacks. Life good. I just asked
Yoda.
AG if he was going to get me a personalized cupcake from Carla. I would really like that if you're listening.
You already got
Carla.
one of those.
Oh, that was for someone else to eat, though. I want to eat it this time.
Wait, you gave your mustache cupcake to someone else?
AG told me it was for one of my wives, per Carla, so I gave it to one of my wives.
That wasn't the reality, though. You just...
Oh, it was actually for me.
We don't care what you do with it as long as somebody enjoys
if you want,
it.
it was like an engagement ring, I guess, for one of your wives.
If you're listening,
will you be my
it is
wife
Morgan's
forever?
birthday next Wednesday, so
we're not going to acknowledge that.
There we
on the
go.
air. We gave her a birthday a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we
It
did.
wasn't my birthday.
I had my show on my birthday. We never talked about it at all.
I'm just asking for a cupcake right now, okay?
Oh, is that what you want?
Yeah,
a cupcake?
just a cupcake. I'm just asking
Okay.
for a cupcake from Carla. That's it.
Okay,
I
man, if you'll run over there to Dollar General,
okay.
grab me a small cake, okay, and I'm going to shove that thing into a cup and I'm going to give it to her.
I really did give it to one of my wives, though. I thought that was the full intention.
Oh, you hear that, police? If you're listening, she's got multiple wives. That is illegal.
Wow, and how
here.
about
This is not Utah.
What about the rest of the wives that didn't get a cupcake?
Oh, yeah.
Now you're
How do they
picking
feel?
favorites.
I hope they're not listening.
Wow.
How many of your wives listen?
Two. Both of them. Both my wives.
Both of them.
Polygamy.
Both of them. All right, Morgan Hilliard, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we also got Caveman Rick in the building with us, as you hear him here on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Fridays on the Afternoon Underdogs. This segment is going to be called AG's Rain Cloud from now on. Okay. AG, who always brings the rain, and that's not necessarily a sign of negativity. Rain could be a good thing, right? Luke Bryan says it, so that has to be true.
Or if you're in the club with money, throwing dollar bills, making it rain.
Haven't done that in a very, very long time.
Seeing red, though, that's also something that we're going to lead this segment off with as we merge into baseball season. Why are you so upset with the Cincinnati Reds? That's my first question here in this interview of Adam Goff.
Seriously?
Why didn't you hit him with an objection?
Oh, because this isn't a court of law. Speaking of, I need you to do a deep dive into the Shohei Ohtani, Ippei Mizuhara. We just had the audio leak and everything. I know that you're big into finding things out about legal issues, so.
Word.
Okay.
There you
Noted.
go.
Honestly,
actually take a note of that.
I am right now.
Honestly, they have made some good moves, starting with bringing Tito on board, right, to manage, which I think is a huge step up from David Bell. I don't like my big thing is I don't like the way they drafted with taking Chase Burns number 2 overall and then paying him more than Paul Skeens. When there's so many other options that were out there at the number 2 slot. And then they have a number of guys in the minors right now that are at least a year away, if not maybe 2, right? And a lot of those guys are going to be Rule 5 eligible either at the end of this season or this winter, right? So they're not willing to trade these guys for, say, a Luis Robert in Chicago or, somebody of that ilk, but then they're going to let them go Rule 5, and so we're just going to lose them and get nothing for them, and we're not going to try to improve the team where, NFL has windows, MLB has windows. The Reds could be potentially in a window with the talent that they've accumulated, with Ellie De La Cruz, Matt McClain, Spencer Steer, those kinds of guys, Hunter Green, Rhett Lauder. They've made some good moves. The Austin Hayes move, I don't know, I'm kind of questioning because...
that last name just doesn't bring a lot to baseball,
Well, it's different spelling, so if that helps you.
He is a no E.
Yeah, he's no E. But... according to everything, the Philadelphia Phillies, I guess, just ignored the fact that he was sick. I don't know exactly what happened there, but apparently he had some kind of kidney issue going on last year, and it was just ignored. And so now it's fixed. So we'll see if Austin Hayes can get back to where he was in 2023. But to me, it's just like you basically added another guy for $5 million that is essentially the same guy as what you have out there already. So maybe a good depth piece, but we don't need depth. We need a starter out there in the outfield that can hit with some power. So that was my big thing. But today, right before we went on, they did trade for Taylor Rogers, the lefty out of San Francisco.
Yeah, you're excited about that.
I am excited about that one, man. The dude's got a hell of an ERA. He's 2.4 in 60 innings pitched last year. He's a lefty for the bullpen, which is what we need desperately. So, and we didn't give up much. We gave up a double-A pitcher with an ERA of over 5. So, I'm okay with that move.
Now, explain to the listeners why we call you Fano, or why some people who might be listening call you Fano. What is that?
Fano cards is what I go by on Whatnot when I do my shows and in breaks and running breaks and things like that. And everybody's just kind of shortened it to Fano. So.
There you go. So the 11-year-old out of California who just found the Paul Skeens 101 rookie patch, the debut patch auto card. How do you feel about his decision sending that back to auction? Is that the right decision, or would have you taken the 30 years of highly coveted Pittsburgh Pirates season tickets behind home plate plus one date with Livy Dunn up in her press box?
The whole thing stinks.
The whole thing stinks.
It does. It does. So you're going to tell me that the most sought after card in the last probably decade, outside of maybe Ohtani rookie super refractor auto, is hit back in December. Topps knows about it. They don't announce it for whatever reason.
So we were just finding out about it, but this was
hit at Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
And
then we're just
this is why you should be buying your cards around Christmas time, ladies and gentlemen.
So a kid rips open a box on Christmas that he begged his mom for. She went to the local card shop, bought it, and then brings it back. Typically what happens is when a monster card like that gets hit, it gets broadcast everywhere. Now, I understand not wanting to put an 11-year-old behind a camera and saying, here's a kid that's basically going to be a millionaire, right? But typically the LCS that's involved in the sale says, we had this card, we sold this card, right? It's big marketing. None of that was done. And then all of a sudden the card gets redeemed and then graded allegedly within 2 days, which is a really, really quick thing to do for Topps as well as PSA. And it gets a PSA 10-10, 10 on the card, quality and 10 on the signature, which, isn't unheard of. The Ellie got a 10-10 as well. But the auction house that's running it is also the same company that made the card, Fanatics.
It's a
conflict of interest.
How do you feel?
Corruption.
Our lawyers.
Conflict of interest, right?
It's a huge conflict.
Do I blame the kid for selling it? Absolutely not. Because one of the stipulations behind what the Pirates offer was you could not sell the tickets. You had to use them.
You couldn't sell the tickets?
The kid is 11 years old and lives in California. Is he flying every day to Pittsburgh to go sit behind home plate?
No.
Absolutely not.
Who wants to do that in the first place?
So
if
that
you
was
live
the
in
stipulation.
Pittsburgh.
If you accept their offer, those tickets are yours. You cannot sell them.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so when they see like a 30-year-old sitting there like, whoa, it's not the 11-year-old.
Right. Hold up. I grew a little bit this year.
But I think it's... Sorry, I don't mean to cut
into
you.
No, you are, but it's okay.
No, I think it's kind of unfair to only give him 2 tickets being 11 years old, knowing he's probably got 2 parents who would also like to go. How do you also choose between a parent as well? That's all I want to say.
The offer was made before the card was hit, right? It was what they call a bounty. So the Pittsburgh Pirates, they put out this bounty where it was like you get to go to like this dream softball game.
Yeah, you get 30
to participate in their practice events. You get season tickets for basically your life.
Yeah,
behind home plate,
preseason, spring training games and stuff down there at the complex.
Livy Dunn comes in because she's dating Paul Skeens and says, "Well, you can also watch a game in my suite.
What if they break up?
Hang out, whatever."
She still has to be there for that. You got.
So I understand why the kid, is selling the card because it's life-changing money.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like if I'm the kid, and if I have my choice, I'm going to Golden and selling it there.
Oh, so you wouldn't have went with the Fanatics auction house.
Right.
You would have went with Golden. Right. I would have went with PCB Hobby personally.
Yeah.
Me as well.
But Ken Golden would have gotten the most for the money there. And in Fanatics, it'll probably do close to $1 million just because of the name. But
you think that's all it's going to go for is $1 million?
I think it'd be $1 million. But it's just the whole situation is
mil
to me.
2.2 mil. And then how much does the auction house get off of
Ellie
that?
did 105. Churio did 95.
105,000?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so yeah, $1 million is kind of...
$1 million is on the high end,
Yeah.
and I can see it probably doing it just because of the hype.
Yeah.
So,
had anything to add to that?
I think going back to the card distributor's hand and the maker is very, very iffy as well because for sure, because Fanatics already has a couple of lawsuits floating out there against people who have signed deals with Fanatics for their NIL essentially. So I mean,
But that is a different...
pause.
I'm
We're gonna come full circle. Just give me a second.
Sustain.
Full second. Anyway, thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Judge Ring.
Judge King.
Babies at night judging radio
Anyways,
shows that day.
They have several lawsuits floating out there who are against these certain individuals, Marvin Harrison Jr. being one of them,
Yeah.
for not, quote unquote, honoring their stipulations and their rules, which while I see Fanatics' side of things, apparently their expectations are so high they can never really ever be met, which kind of opens up this door. So I already have like this stipulation towards Fanatics that I think is really, really just gross on their end of how they conduct their own business. And that's why I don't really like the fact that it goes straight back to them, because to put that card back in the hands of people who I already, and AG has just said, we deem corrupt, it's just unfair to the market as a whole and not to people who really care about, a certain
She
hobby.
just stacked her papers like
now
an
I will
attorney, y'all.
say,
My closing argument is done now.
I will say that Fanatics has agreed that whatever proceeds they get from it, right from the sale of the card, will be donated to the the California Fire Fund, right?
Okay.
So that part of it has been
nullified.
Good, but at the same time, the exposure for their own website, their auction house, their product. It doesn't get any better than that. So that's where, for me,
But isn't that the reason why you put out, cards like that?
But it's
is
the
for
way
exposure.
It's the way everything.
They knew what was going on once they put out all of those MLB rookie patches. They know for the ones who are big deals when they're coming into the league. They know what teams. I mean, really, you can blame the Pirates for making it even more so of a coveted card than what it already was.
No, it's not about the fact that it's coveted. It's about the fact that there was zero transparency from Christmas up until like a week ago when it came out that this card was hit.
Okay.
Right. So again, in the industry, when you see a big card hit, like Jack Caglianone's Bowman Chrome Sapphire,
Shohei Ohtani,
his Bowman Chrome Sapphire Papadadasha, which is one of one pink auto.
Papadadasha?
Mm-hmm. When it was hit, like 30 seconds later, it was all over social media.
Right. But
because it's a big chase.
So
you're telling me that this kid had this card.
Who was it that got the Papadadasha?
It was some random dude on
But he was
on
an
a stream.
adult. So how much of the...
Well, it was on a stream, so that's how they found out. This kid opened it up in his living room on Christmas morning underneath the tree.
You're telling me that he didn't tell his friend, and his friend didn't go and tell somebody else, and somebody else.
Hey, maybe some people like in his circle
Maybe his
got
mom
his ear
opened it up and said, you know what, I'm going to give this to you in 2025.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, like, honestly.
Morgan, what's your thoughts?
I know my grandfather's a smart guy. He would tell me to hush hush.
I feel like if you're 11 years old and, you feel really passionate about something and you tell your mom, I really want this, and you being a mom, who knows where your interests lie, Who knows where your interests lie? You just go do this thing because it'll make your kid happy. Who knows what your family really does? I think it's just kind of an unfair bias I think it's an unfair bias to be not only like the MLB scenario in this and then Fanatics and have all of these things coming towards you, and you're making the decision as not only an 11-year-old kid but also the guarantor and power of attorney for an 11-year-old who can't even grasp the concept of what they're actually holding. I think it's very unfair.
So you think they should have just given the card back to Fanatics?
No, not at all.
Said rewrap this thing.
No, do they really
to me, there's
understand
no
the way?
transparency, and that's the biggest issue. Is there's no transparency with anything that transpires.
But I think sometimes when
get the card back and then wait a few years and then reissue it in packs again to try to redo it again.
In a few years, that card's not going to be. It's not going to have the same buzz.
But I mean,
it might have buzz.
If Paul Skeens starts tearing it up, I mean, it could be
also, what if he has Tommy John in the same year that then also loses a little bit of heat, if you will. So
I think you have to kind of watch and try to reissue that when it can be capitalized on for the bang for your buck aspect.
But my thing is I don't know, if it was my kid, if I had, and I don't know how to really, in reality, look at this without having a child, you know? Mm-hmm. With that being said, though, I think that it would be one of those situations, oh, yeah, you got that card, and I'll probably take that card and put that in a sleeve and put it away and say, oh, here's
your college.
No, here's that card that you just won. And it'd be a picture of Paul Skeens.
But think about it. That's what I was literally just saying. Think about your everyday life and what you do every day and what you keep up with. Everyone in this room watches sports at least once a day, and they also have different things buzzing on their phone going for sports. Okay, nah, lies. Look in the mirror. But everyone in this room, and Caveman Rick, sorry, you're in the other room. There's
same thing though, bud. We're not leaving you out here.
Multiple buzzes on your phone from ESPN, things you keep up with, news sources and things like that. That's what I'm saying. If you're just this random person who has no real interest in where these other person's interests lie, none of the parties involved really understand the weight and what is this other than I'm about to get a paycheck.
A fat paycheck. And see, that's my thing too, though, Morgan, is that he might not understand the weight of it, but he understands how big that was, because this is something that's been talked about, and obviously he likes baseball cards, right? So if at 11 years old and I get a fun pack of baseball cards, right, then I'm going to be excited about that, and I'm going to be excited no matter what I pull. But then when the severity hits of how serious it was of what I pulled, so he might not have even noticed that was. How do you know? Do you see the video?
Because allegedly there's a journal from this 11-year-old kid that he wrote about the story of when that card was pulled, and he knew exactly what he had pulled when he pulled it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And what does that mean?
Allegedly.
There's no weight behind allegedly, is there?
There's no weight.
Not until convicted into a court of sports cards. And that's why we have Judge Caveman Rick, who will kick the baby down the road until we're ready to get to the trial. Sustained. You're right over the Afternoon Underdogs. That was AG's Rain Cloud segment. And coming up next, we've got Mo's Notes with Morgan Hilliard. You're right with the Afternoon Underdogs. Tuned in to ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
And we were texting each other back and forth because he was having the same problem. And I said, hey, I think this is going to be the last flight that gets into the Panhandle. I do not want to be on a plane for a while. I'm good. I can't drive there for a couple months. I ain't going.
Weekday morning 7 to 9, ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Wednesday. For tonight, light fog and partly cloudy skies and a low of 53 with a very light wind. Tomorrow morning, a mixture of mostly sunshine and slight fog with temps around 66. In the afternoon and evening, mostly sunny and a temperature near 69. Moving into Friday, of the same with a high of 70 and sprinkling. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Do you want to eat like a local? The Local 115 is now open. Local drinks, local sports, and local food. Delicious oysters, crab cakes, steamed seafood, gumbos, salads, paninis, wings, wine, and cold beer. Nothing fried. That's right. No fried foods at Local 115. Amazing local food with an exciting local sports and mural theme. Eat like a local at the Local 115. 115 Harrison Avenue, downtown Panama City.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
Hewitt Tire and Auto. Call 850-769-7323. Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing. Visit them online at HewittTire.com. On Airport Road in Panama City. 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
Need a tow? Call Billy at Hometown Towing, 850-265-1562.
Who was hired? Who was fired? Trades, drafts, and playoffs. We're talking about it.
That trade, when it was made, was the right trade.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, right here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. We are your home for Auburn Tiger basketball here on ESPN Northwest Florida. And Auburn's going to be taking on LSU. Tip-off tonight at 6 p.m. right after the Afternoon Underdogs. We've got Morgan Hilliard in the house with us, and she likes to bring a little segment along where we talk about things that are happening in the burnerverse of Twitter called Mo's Notes. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick, and we've got Adam Goff in the house with us. Jay is, I don't even know what the rest of that says. Jay, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. What's going on, my man?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Super interesting conversation about the old Paul Skeens card. So I've got a buddy who was actually a pitcher at LSU just a few years before Paul. He knows a bunch of them. But anyways, we were actually talking about that card not too long ago. And, you know, as a dad of 3 kids and someone who loves collectibles and stuff like that, you know, it's really difficult because you're looking at it and you're saying this card right now could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Do you hold on to it and hope that it increases in value, or do you cash in right now, take that money and invest it? And, you know, literally that young man could, you know, by the time he's 25, 30, never have to work a day in his life.
Not good for him.
Correctly. So, you know, but it's a hard decision, right?
No, it's absolutely a hard decision. I think that the conversation that we were having was more or less, especially from the standpoint of AG, the perspective of AG, who is in the card world, is more or less on the transparency that was going along with him unboxing that. So let me ask you this from a dad's perspective. One of your children opens up that card or opens up a pack and it's got the 1-of-1 in it. Do you keep that secretive for a little while, or do you go straight to that? I guess that's where we're at in this situation. Is as a parent, what's the next step? Is it, you know, going straight to the Pirates and having the conversation with them? Is it going to an auction house, or do you keep it on the low for a little while? What happens after you guys were to open that card?
Yeah, it's a great question. We've actually looked into stuff like that because just in case, right? I mean, we like to open up packs. We like collectibles. For me personally, it's always been one of those deals where if you ever come across something that is worth a substantial amount of money, but you're not exactly sure how much it is and you don't know what to do, first thing every time, you keep your mouth shut, right? You don't say anything. You find a financial advisor, talk to them, you see what you need to do. You
Jay Chapman, ladies and gentlemen.
You throw the card into its own LLC. You don't even have to worry about it. The LLC owns the card. You've got to trust. Everything is set up. And then you look at, all right, how can I best capitalize on this? Because in the overall scheme of things, I know it's really cool. And as a collector, it kills me to say that I would probably sell it, you know. But at the same time, you're talking about setting your kid up for it's not like it's a Mickey Mantle or something like that, which is still a great pull, but that's a couple $100, right? We're talking about something that could be potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're talking about taking that, putting it into a trust, investing that. Kid never has to work again. So for me, mouth shut, get it all set up, turn around, sell it in a heartbeat. There's no way I would take the deal from the Pirates.
No way.
Because, I mean, listen, we live in Florida. How many times are you going to get up there to sit behind home plate at the Pirates game? And even if you did, would you want to? No.
And let's go a step further. If you lived right next door to PNC Stadium, if you lived walking distance away, are you going to be going to that franchise for 30 years? And sitting behind home plate? No, absolutely not. I mean, come on. I need 30 years worth of time with Livy Dunn to even start getting into that type of a mindset. I mean, no, there's no chance. And meeting Paul Skeens and all of that stuff, that's great and all. But how about you just let me meet him just because I pulled the card? That's what you should do.
how about we sell the card, and then the next time he's signing, we just go and pay the $100 to get him to sign a baseball.
Boom, because you got the money at that point in time. I think that you've hit the nail on the head. Thank you so much for the call. And I think the only thing that I disagree with, though, real quick, is he's already gone. The only thing that I disagree with is when he said the Mickey Mantle, where it's like you pull a Mickey Mantle, especially if it's a 1952. What is it? The Bowman rookie Tops, the Tops.
The one that we held.
Yeah, we got an opportunity to touch that card.
So for reference, I was with him up until he said the Mantle, right?
Which everything else, very sound.
Right.
And also I would like to say, if he's still listening, Jay, if you're still listening,
we love the feedback. 100%.
Love the feedback, and then also keep on being a great dad to those youngins, because they appreciate it, and they'll appreciate it even much more so down the road. And you know what you're doing, and we appreciate you so much for listening.
But the highest sale of a Mickey Mantle card, and then granted, this is in White Elephant, right? It was an SGC 9.5, which for most people, PSA, they don't do well on vintage. So SGC is where most people go with vintage cards, which is that's what a 1952 Topps Mantle would be. So it was a 9.5, 10 being perfect. 9.5 is the next step below perfect, right? It sold back at auction in August of 2022 for $12.6 million.
Hey, but still, $1 million is $1 million,
right? And
for the Paul Skeens, and that's why I love what Jay was saying about setting it up, for the future. All right, we've taken a lot of time out of your time. We're just going to keep on doing the same thing. What do you want to talk about, AG? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we've got Morgan here. Oh, what do you have on your list of notes to talk about from the burnerverse of Twitter? And if you guys would like to interrupt her, 850-215-6290.
I would enjoy your interruptions, by the way. I would love for someone to tell me once again that I should not wear orange. That's what I'm waiting for.
Shout out LSU Jeff.
Waiting for it. Not too many crazy things happening in the burnerverse other than everybody essentially just making fun of those quarterbacks who can't really get it done in these big games, especially games against the Chiefs, where me personally, I found it kind of hard to just get excited to watch anyone play the Chiefs or just watch the Chiefs play in general. So that's just been kind of a tough aspect to get past, because you see the same things. I don't really love watching all the maneuvers they go through to try to pull or draw penalties, and watching Travis Kelce flop 15 times the other night. It was just not it. I turned off the game, went to sleep.
It's just not it.
It's just not it. I don't care to watch you flop, and I don't care to watch Patrick Mahomes. Just the entitlement that radiates off him makes me really sick. I just don't like watching games like that. I'm just not a big fan of that.
Not a big fan of the flop. Morgan's not a big fan of the flop.
I'm not a big fan of the flop unless it's true hockey, because I've seen it a lot in basketball lately as well. And I guess I'm just more so the eye is
She's a big LeBron fan, is what she's saying.
Oh, are you?
My eye is more trained to what's actually going on here.
You said you were blind earlier.
I am blind.
So how are your eyes trained for anything
Don't
except
worry
for not
about
seeing?
Things. Because
She
I
said
have my
4 of them,
contacts
babe.
in.
Oh, okay.
Objection.
Objection.
Sustained.
But,
Overruled.
It's just kind of hard to get behind, because oh my gosh, just run the ball, please. I just do something other than whatever this is. But what they did lose their minds over, and I was crying laughing over this. Frankie Louvu the other night trying to stop the tush push, where he just opened up its Superman over 2 lines and then trying to take Jalen Hurts down with him. What were you guys' initial reactions to that? Because not only was it the fact that he went for it, but he really was gonna go for it a third time. And they're we're just gonna award points.
I wish they would have gave him the touchdown. I really do.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that would have been a cool thing, in our stat line,
Yeah, no one gets a touchdown.
The only
in the box
team
scores.
in the NFL to ever get a touchdown awarded that way. That'd be that's a cool trivia question.
Right, so in basketball, college or NBA, even high school, if you have an own goal, right, where it was tipped in, it goes into the closest person of that team.
The last person that touched it.
So now your center's getting a touchdown. How cool would that be?
That's that's cool. It's
it would have been a lot cooler if it would have been Jason Kelce who would be getting the touchdown.
Right, but could you imagine though if it was
just give it
Barkley,
to the broadcaster,
or it was Hurts again, or they gave it to a wide receiver?
What if the referee got the touchdown? What if the ref got the touchdown and it was the Chiefs playing? That would be
imagine
perfect.
Vegas implications though if you had bets on a player bet and they were like, oh well, we're just going to give it to Jalen Hurts, and you had a bet for Jalen Hurts to score
3 touchdowns,
or whatever,
Yeah.
and
which he did.
Yeah.
Well, but I'm saying, like, if they had just awarded it.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, that would have been an easy payout.
So now you have the officials making a determination that, changes betting odds. So
I like what you say there about talking about college basketball, because that's where I'm going to circle to next.
Oh, yeah. Texas had a big win this last
weren't
weekend.
y'all up by 30 in the first half against Texas?
I can't hear anything you're saying right now.
Oh, okay.
Was it 30?
Was
I
it 30?
can't hear, and I can't read either.
Was it 30 that Texas A&M
They
was
were
up?
They were up by 20 points going into the
20
second
points.
half. And then I've had this narrative lately that we're like a second half basketball team. And then
the narrative's out the window.
The narrative just
Not the
ran
buzz
away
that
from
I'm
us.
hearing.
Yeah, the narrative just ran away. His fit last night was really, really hard. The pink, like he had the gray in the front, but the pink in the back of the vest, and then the pink Converse. But they were doing a breast cancer promotion
Susan G. Komen, Dave, come on.
Yeah, for Reed Arena. So everyone was encouraged to wear pink. So I thought his fit was really, really fantastic. I did enjoy that. We beat OU though, and fun facts.
Yeah,
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready for some fun facts.
Before I say anything else, I have to shout out Luke Evangelist. He is a reporter for TexAgs, and
That's his name?
Luke Evangelist.
Evangelist.
Yeah.
Like televangelist, but evangelist?
Yeah.
Okay. That's his last name.
He specifically reports for the basketball season, and he's in one of my group chats, and I reached out to him earlier because he takes great notes on what A&M basketball is doing, and I was like, hey, I usually do my own investigation, but you're just so thorough, like I don't even want to have to look. Could I please just borrow some of your notes so I could spread the gospel? And he was like, absolutely, Morgan.
Okay.
So
We're not gonna do
anyways,
that one here.
Let's evangelist, gospel,
Yeah,
they
I know.
belong together.
Pretty punny there, Morgan.
Thank you. Anyways, Texas A&M is the first SEC basketball team to complete a sweep of a mirror opponent this season, and Oklahoma is the first SEC basketball team to be swept this year, which I found really, really fun. Also, only Auburn and Alabama have more quarter one and quarter two wins than the Aggies right now. Sorry, I see Q and I immediately think quarter because like what I do at work. Sorry, I immediately
Quad.
think.
Did you say quad?
Yeah,
Quad
that's
one.
fine. I immediately think quarter because my mind kind of goes somewhere else when I see these numbers or letters. Essentially. Dumb, blind, and can't hear. What's working for me today? Nothing.
No one said you were dumb.
Yeah, no one said
I
that.
did.
Oh, okay. All right.
I did.
Well, as long as it's you.
So, anyways, I think that's a really fun thing. He does a lot of great reporting. If you want to catch up with what the Aggies are doing, go give TexAgs a follow because, guys like Luke really deserve that recognition. And he's a really great reporter, and he's a great guy as well. Anyways, did you happen to catch the Duke game? Versus Wolfpack on Monday.
Oh, Monday. I watched
a
a good amount of it, but not the most important part.
So I feel like that was one of the crazier games that I've kind of got to witness lately. I kind of just, when there's not really anything else going on that's affiliated with anything that directly relates to A&M or a team I'm really passionate about, I'll just flip a game on. I wasn't expecting to see a Duke player throw up mid-play on the court, just exorcism vomit everywhere, just right under the goal.
Tasty.
Pretty awesome.
It was pretty crazy. I hope he's okay. Didn't really get an update on that. But then not only that, right after that or following that exorcism, a fan passed out in the stands and was completely unconscious, and they couldn't revive him. They didn't even put him on a stretcher. You just see a couple of EMS personnel go over, and they've got him in a seated position, and they just carry him right out. What was happening at that game?
So the student passed away?
No, he just passed out in the stands, and they couldn't.
Well, you said couldn't revive him, so I'm thinking, is he die?
Come on.
I used to do
He might
EMS.
be dead. You don't know.
I used to do EMS. It was probably going to be a pain in the butt to get a stretcher down and take a while. And if they needed to move him, they moved him probably in a seated position just in case his C-spine was compromised. That way he wouldn't be, getting paralyzed or something. Just a quick thought, but that's probably what was going on.
Thank you, Caveman Rick. For
Well,
your
and
comment.
Cameron's already really, really cramped. It's a tiny venue.
Yeah.
It only
And
holds
they're crazy in
4,500 people. They are crazy. And it's they're really, really crammed in there. So I would imagine they probably just said, he's close enough to the court. Let's just get him out as quick as we can.
And get him into one of the medical rooms so he can be examined by true personnel, and I'm sure some other type of doctors who are
What was
also
your
affiliated.
diagnosis after that?
I hope he's okay.
Okay.
I don't
That's
know
a
if I
great
found out anything
prognosis
else.
there.
I hope he's okay.
Her lead was they couldn't revive him.
Sorry, it's been It's
You're doing a great job, Morgan.
Don't lie to me.
was like,
There's a
I
lot.
watched that game, but I didn't know the dude died.
There's a lot going on up here, and like none of it actually makes sense. So I'm sorry to everyone listening that you're getting me on one of my not so great days.
It's all right. We're used to it. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. More from Morgan Hilliard and Mo's Notes when we get back. This is the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Jesselyn, I'm looking at your snowman picture right now. Are those twins?
They are.
Adorable. Well, congratulations. You just won the best snowman competition.
Hey, thank you.
Have you been enjoying the snow?
I have been. We've been out just about as much as we can tolerate.
Well, you guys scored a gift card to Major Smokehouse and That Boot Store.
All right.
Congratulations from ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Wednesday. For tonight, light fog and partly cloudy skies, and a low of 53 with a very light wind. Tomorrow morning, a mixture of mostly sunshine and slight fog with temps around 66. In the afternoon and evening, mostly sunny and a temperature near 69. Moving into Friday, of the same with a high of 70 and sprinkling. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Introducing Lucid Stream TV. Get over 2,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch local network channels from most major markets throughout the country. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. It's more than sports. Lucid Stream TV offers premium movie channels like HBO, Cinemax, Stars, 200-plus entertainment and news networks. Or watch 10,000 movies on demand, including recent theater releases. Just $42 a month when you use the promo code ESPNNW at checkout. Watch on up to 5 devices at the same time. Perfect for sharing with family and friends. Lucid Stream TV gives you everything you want for less. Cut the cord, not the fun. To score Lucid Stream TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click on the Lucid Stream TV logo.
Get the edge on the competition with the latest lines, expert picks, and everything you need to place your bets. Elevate your game day experience with ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. ESPN Northwest Florida.
What's going on? You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Hall & Hart's ESPN Northwest Florida teaming up for the Magic Express. You can win 2 passes to watch the Orlando Magic host the Sacramento Kings Saturday, March 29th from a luxury suite with free food during the game, and your hotel is included in the ultimate road trip. All you got to do is open up the ESPN Northwest Florida app and crush the Enter Contest button. That's brought to you by PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Hall & Hart's in Fairfield, Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive, and Home 2 Suites. I'm David Hayes along with Adam Goff and Caveman Rick, and we've got our special guest on Wednesdays, Morgan Hilliard, who brings us Mo's Notes, which is where we just dive into the world of Twitter, the Twitterverse, and talk about things happening there. So, what is the latest thing that's twending? What's twending on Twitter?
Twending is great. Winnowly. I love that. The only thing I really saw was some talk about Dylan Gabriel yesterday at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, you saw his helmet?
I saw his helmet with UCF, and then he had Oregon, and then what was the one other school?
Oklahoma.
Yes.
Your favorite. Okay. One of your other favorites.
As long as the wagon tips when they come out. Like, as long as the wagon's tipping, I'm a huge fan. Anyways, I did think that was a super cool helmet. I thought it was really nice to honor him in a way. Specifically for my sports girlies who are trying to, up your knowledge or anything like that. I noticed something very specific. He really looks like Taylor Lautner. I don't know. The guy...
Who does? From Twilight?
Dylan Gabriel does.
Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel. I was just waiting for him to do a backflip at any moment.
He's the werewolf from Twilight.
Yes. And he's also Shark Boy and Lava Girl whenever he's younger. I don't know.
Drawing blanks.
I know my kid watched that back in the day when he was a kid. So, yeah.
Yeah, so he's got a lot.
He dated Taylor Swift there for a while, so it was Taylor and Taylor.
And
so there were some songs written about him, I guess?
I'm sure there were.
What were the songs written about him so that our listeners can go back and...
Something about a shark getting hooked or something, or Jaws is in the water.
Boy! You bit my heart out! Oh, Oh, Shark Boy.
He did marry a woman named Taylor, so he did. I think
So
he has
he
like
just-
some weird obsession.
Taylor
But
Cube.
both of their names are Taylor Lautner, technically. Like, how do you even differentiate? I don't know.
Taylor.
Taylor
Taylor Lautner.
Doctor.
Taylor Lautner, senior and junior.
Okay.
I don't.
So did y'all see where
AG.
Dylan Gabriel threw it like 67
That's where I
miles
was
an
going to
hour?
go. It was reported that he topped Josh Allen's like record breaking, and it's the fastest ball ever thrown at a Senior Bowl. I did see that.
So he's going to be like Jamarcus Russell?
I guess, yeah. Hey, but by the way, did you see your boy? They're already
Jalen Milroe.
They're already
with his
making fun of him.
inconsistency?
They're already making fun of
and
him.
Jackson Dart.
They're making fun of him
Good,
because of his
Jackson Dart
hand
deserves
size.
Oh, his hand size.
Now
Well,
they're
that's
saying
actually
his-
a good sign.
Now they're saying Milroe's hand size is
That's
too
a good
small.
sign, right? I
Yeah.
mean, look at Joe Burrow. If he got made fun of for his hand size, so
And so now it's he's built like a Greek god with tiny little hands.
tiny little hands.
Oh
Well,
my gosh.
I don't expect much from Jalen Milroe at the next level, so we'll leave that to the scouts.
So is he not going to be a Titan, #1 overall?
Heck no. And none of those quarterbacks really deserve to be.
I don't
Cam
either.
Ward
I don't
doesn't
think so
deserve to
either.
be a #1 overall pick. Shadur doesn't. The fact is, like, they're not. These aren't generational talents. I don't think. Maybe Cam Ward could be, but don't you think that Miami's maybe in a better position or would have been in a better position last year? Did he win them a lot of games? Yes. The defense was, for the most part, atrocious. But at the end of the day, when you've got guys who are generational like that, but again, it doesn't come down to how they performed in college as much as it does what you do when you get to the league. I don't think either one of them have a big enough chip on their shoulder when talking about Cam Ward and Shadur Sanders to be great.
Best quarterback in that class is Jackson Dart at the next level.
What about Will Howard?
No, I think it's Jackson Dart.
I just don't think a lot of quarterbacks are going to draft that high this draft anyways, because there's a lot of good talent that's already out there and guys who are doing good performances and showing up for,
The Titans don't have any of that, though.
Well, that's the Titans specifically. Also, Cowboys, if you can hear me, please do something. God, I'm begging. I'm literally begging.
Let me ask some of the greatest coaching staff moves in the history of the NFL.
Because our other options were so great as well. We
What,
were
you're
literally
excited
looking
about
at
Brian
Prime
Schottenheimer?
and maybe Sark. Like, what are we doing?
So you think Schottenheimer?
No, I don't either. Like, nothing in this scenario
was good. They should have just hired you. At least on Wednesdays.
So
I
I
love what the Cowboys are doing.
secretly like just suffocate Jerry Jones at his boss.
No. No,
That
easy.
ruins things for the Eagles.
Easy.
Right.
He's a nice man. Let him live. The longer he's alive, the worse the Dallas Cowboys will be. As soon as he croaks, that team's going to probably change. I want him around forever.
I don't know. I don't think that.
I want him to be like the Crypt Keeper, man, looking like that. Like 150 years old, you know?
I don't think his son's any better though. I think his son is just as bad as him.
I think
so
his
either
son
way,
may
it doesn't work out.
his son is not going to become the general manager. He's not going to have a radio show once a week. He's not going to be doing all the things that Jerry Jones does. I think his son will be smart, relinquish some of that control to actual football people.
Let me ask the resident Aggie a question. By pretty much all the projections, Mel Kiper, the big board, all that stuff, I'm seeing like 4 to 5 Aggies go in the first round projected. Like, are we looking at Elko as like a Calipari here with all the talent but can't win?
Calipari at Arkansas.
I think so. With this first year staff, and obviously there are some things that A&M needs to work out. We have a lot of good talent. Yeah, of course, like look at Ja'Day Walker, Sunbelt at 9, but and look at Shamar Turner and look at a couple of other people who are projected to go in
Skirtin.
Yeah, Nick as well. You're looking at all these people who are projected to go high. I think the thing is there is something internally where heads are butting. I personally can say that I think we play. I don't think this is Elko, but offensively, because, Elko's a defensive guy. He has a defensive mindset, and what happened whenever we played USC is a conversation in itself regarding Jay Bateman, who might have supposedly was going to go to Virginia Tech, but now he's staying, but Elko's calling the plays on defense. There's just a lot going on there, and I think there's a lot of internal things that have to be worked out. And on the offensive side, Colin Klein is used to this kind of, I don't want to say trick play, but he's used to having a little bit more molded people playing under his wing, and Marcel stepped up to be this fantastic guy, and I agree, Marcel is a fantastic guy, and I do think he's shown a lot of progressions from when he stepped in to take over from Connor to the end of the season. I'm very proud of that, and I'm happy to see him do all the things, but there are things going on there that we could never actually know what's really happening, because like I've said so many times before, they keep that athletic program more locked down than the White House. Like, it's kind of hard to get, it's so hard to get information from them unless it's being leaked on the TexAgs message boards, unless you actually know people who work for the team. And even if you know people who work for the team, do you really want to spill some of the information that you know just to hurt our program, to hit the hands of people who have no idea what they're talking about, just to cause utter manic chaos between the entire fan base, which our fan base is already kind of insufferable sometimes anyways, because they don't know what they want, period. Yeah, you get to talk to me. I'm one of the nicer ones, and at least
I know.
You know, exactly. At least I'm nice about it.
And she doesn't wear overalls either, so that helps.
Yeah, not at least in the studio.
Yeah. Real. Real. But, you know, there's some things that need to be really worked out between our coaching staff, so I hope they figure it out. I'm excited for our next season, and hopefully we do something more than 8-4.
Do you have anything? Oh, okay, we'll see. I mean, that'll, be something that we look forward to next year.
Exactly.
Probably we'll be counting down the wins, and we'll be sitting there 7 and probably more like 6 and 5 at the end of the year.
Don't
and just
play with me.
No opportunity to get to 8-4. Do you have anything else from the Twitterverse?
No.
No? I thought you had one more thing. Did we dive into that one thing?
Yeah, it was the Dylan Gabriel thing.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. AG.
I think we should go with 9.
Number 9.
I think we should go with 9.
Do you have anything off the top of your head, though? Because I wanted to kind of prepare a little bit better for what she's referencing is what's the craziest sports conspiracy theory that you genuinely believe is true? Do you have one off the top of your head? What you got?
I think there's this kind of like unspoken curse that floats around any young player. You give someone a lot of money and they immediately have to commit a crime for some reason. And I don't think it's really conspiracy, but it's more definitely a hot take of a curse, because I think that's
the law side of you coming out? Is that where this is coming from?
No, I just
I should have asked this in the break. Like, what is your conspiracy theory going to be? Okay, let's not go there. No.
How often does it happen though? Like, it happens
you're saying,
more often than not, especially with these guys who are still in college. Like, look at Georgia.
I think it's a small percentage, though. I mean, these college rosters are 85 kids.
All of the college athletes.
I think it's a small percentage. The thing is it's more magnified when it's parole tied, or when it's Georgia, or or whatever. It's more magnified, right? So like one of these things on here was, the questions for me was, about Rick Pitino, and it's like, well, I mean, Rick Pitino got in trouble because they had ladies of the night in the college dorms, right? I mean, like, there's stuff that goes on.
They were hard workers, though.
No, they weren't. They were bad, dude. It was awful. Like,
AJ talking like he was there.
No, but I've seen pictures.
Oh!
Sorry, Carla.
No, I've seen pictures, and it was bad. But
I mean, it's also just like having
videos, though, still sometimes can lead things to be desired.
I think we're just going to skirt past that.
Okay,
I think we're going to skirt past that out of respect. But
I got a problem with number 8.
All right, what's your problem with number 8?
Max is from Chicago. They got like the highest murder rate in the country. Are you kidding me?
Okay, so to preface this so that we're not having inside jokes here, Max sent me in a few questions for AG in his Rain Cloud segment that we talked about earlier. Is Cincinnati a better city than Philadelphia or Baltimore, or would you rather just live in Baghdad? That was specified.
Did you see what they did after the Eagles won on Sunday?
Yeah,
you
had the car. You had the car situation where they ran into like a group of 3 people or so, or 3 people got injured out of the group.
Shooting off guns and then fireworks.
Then you also had the student from Temple who fell from a light pole, and
they grease the light poles usually just so people don't do that kind of junk. And I wonder if our buddy Austin Siegel knew that kid, because he's a coach at Temple.
Coach Old says, my conspiracy, Michael Jordan was suspended, not really retired the first time.
Well, it could have been for his gambling, yeah. I think they talked about that a little bit on
not just his gambling, but who he was being seen in cahoots with, which were notable gamblers. And at that point in time, we didn't have Hard Rock or DraftKings or any of that kind of stuff.
Quick question. Shohei, if he'd been around a lot longer, won a bunch of championships like Mike, does he get the treatment that he did?
I don't know.
Didn't Shohei get treated pretty good if he had any involvement? Which they've already released some audio of. Even
I hear you, but still,
I don't know if Shohei did anything. Where are you at on that conspiracy?
I mean, first glance, you go, well, he has to be involved.
First glance, it looks bad, yeah.
Right, but then as you see more and more come out, but at the same time, baseball is not going to take its golden boy and throw him under a bus. They're going to take everybody else that they can that would make a little bit of sense and make that person be the scapegoat, right? So I don't necessarily think Shohei was involved in that. I mean, the dude has way too much to lose over some bets. Now, obviously, there's an addiction aspect to it, which is a real thing, but he's too much of a private dude to be able to put himself out there like that, I think.
What do you think, Mo?
I think if you look at like some of his interviews and where he actually talks, you can see the language barrier, and you could see how, there is some broken English in there, even though I think overall he's a good speaker, and I think, I don't want to say he's doing his best. I think he's done really well with what we do get to see of him. However, when you're reading those contracts and whatnot, there are words specifically thrown in there to try to throw you off. There are things thrown in there to try to slip, that you'll kind of skim over if you really don't know what you're looking at. And I just don't think anyone without a true eye for what they're actually reading is going to know. So whenever these things are being done under the table, I also kind of believe that he has no involvement, just because there's not enough to put together there to really hold him liable, knowing and what we do get to see.
You can't put two and two together. I agree with that. I don't think Shohei had any involvement. Back to Coach Olds, he says Michael Jordan was suspended, not really retired the first time. And then we were talking about it. He said, but why did baseball make an example of Pete Rose? Because Pete Rose was gambling on the sport he was playing in, regardless of
managing,
at that point in time. There's a big difference there, and I think that this is a segment that we will dive into next Wednesday. Okay. So come prepared with your conspiracy theories next Wednesday. Morgan Hilliard for Caveman Rick, Morgan Hilliard, Adam Goff. I'm David Hayes. We're the Afternoon Underdogs. Y'all don't forget to open up your ESPN Northwest Florida app and crush the enter contest button. That contest to go to the Magic and the Kings game on Saturday, March 29th ends this Friday, January 31st. Y'all have a great evening. Be safe out there. Just remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I.
Your home for college basketball. ESPN Northwest Florida.
The 18-1 Auburn Tigers are on fire.